Welcome back to the Perfect Lap Podcast. I'm Mark Jager. This is Mark Kilgore. He goes by Kilgore. I go by Jager. And today we're here with John Hunter, again, manager of the SCCA Time Trials Program. And let me tell you, he's got some super big news for us coming for Time Trials Nationals, as well as some very interesting information for those West Coast time attackers out there. So, John, do tell. I just want to get into it. What have you been doing lately, man? What's been going on?
I mean, not much, just running what we've done 2 events, and I've competed in one myself in the last 3 weeks. We did Pocono. 3 weeks ago, I came to the Ridge and did a time attack event myself with On-Grid, and then we were back to Autobahn to do another time attack, which is sold out event, had almost 100 cars there for that event. We had a Targa leading up to that, and we can talk about Targa later and what that is if you guys want to. I think we talked about it last time around the show, but we can refresh that. But it was a really big event, really successful. I had a great time. But man, it's been a whirlwind. I think I've spent 3 days at home in the last 3 or 4 weeks.
3 days at home in 3 weeks? Man, that's rough. That's rough. But you're doing it for all those time attackers out there, all those people who enjoy their cars. You are taking the time. You're being there. I do love, you did mention a little bit earlier, so you even did some instructing while you were out there. And I know me and you both have a huge affinity for getting out there and actually sitting side seat with people and doing some instruction. So tell us a little bit about that one.
Actually, well, with this, I haven't right seat instructed for a while. This was the coaching stuff that we do at our events, where I got to coach a group again, just working with the group and making sure that they work together to build the best laps that they can, to make sure everybody gets clean laps for the best laps. My favorite thing after we had an impound after every session, my favorite thing to hear is how many times I would tell people, raise your hand if you got a new PB. And I think every session I had 5 or 6 hands going up out of the 21 cars in my group. I was like, that's what we're talking about. Like,
hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Let's get that
That's
PB&J.
awesome.
Come on, let's go.
So you mentioned that you actually got to drive, which I love hearing. I know how hard you work. I know how many events that you go to running the admin side of it. How long has it been since you had been out there on like doing a track day with your Miata?
This year I would say I did the 2-day event. Prior to that, I've done probably 2-3 sessions, maybe this year. Not a lot of time for seat time.
That's rough.
Kind of showed.
Yeah.
I got a new PB, but man, it was. It's weird to walk away from getting a personal best and being disappointed because you didn't think you drove as consistent and as good as you should have.
That happens.
But that's kind of where I was. I was like, literally at one point I was coaching myself. I actually dropped 2 wheels when I didn't need to drop 2 wheels in the dirt, and I pulled the car on track and I had a half lap before pit lane. I was like, and I coached myself. I was like, either you focus and you get yourself together, or you go into pits right now. You're going to get this and you're going to get this right, or you go pits. And next lap was the actually new PB. So
that's awesome.
I like to say I did a good job of coaching myself.
How many times had you been at the Ridge?
Oh, geez. I've been at the Ridge a little bit now. I wouldn't say, I've been out here for 3 years. So I've been out there a few times. I've talked to a friend who's got 50 track days out there. I was like, hey, take a look at my lines. Tell me what you think. He's going to get back to me. I feel like I'm doing pretty good. It's a tuner or street touring class ND Miata. My best right now is a 52.5. So I think a 52 flats in it as the car sits. But I'm hustling it. I'm doing the best I can.
For sure. That's solid.
120 at the front straight. So.
Dude,
there you go.
That track is super fun. So I'm a little envious that you actually got to drive that track in your own car. I wish it wasn't so dang far away, because I would love to take my Mustang out on that track and just see what it can do.
We'll have to entice you to come up to that track somehow. Maybe we should talk about that.
Yeah, maybe so. Maybe so.
I'm gonna give a little quick shout out. So, a buddy of mine, Kendrick, he recently passed away. He lived up in that area, and that was a big plan of mine to hook up with him. He had a Subaru, had an STI, and we were actually hoping to be able to come up there and run that STI. And he has a Forester that he was building. So, big shout out to Kendrick, Mission Man. You'll be missed. But sorry to break into that bad news. So I'll switch gears a little bit. So John, tell us about this super big news that you have coming for SCCA Time Trials Program.
Well, the big news that we have is there's a little car show going to join us for Time Trials National this year, and the little is definitely in quotes. It's this car show called Superfly. It is brought to you by one of the co-founders of Radwood. I think a lot of people have heard of Radwood, based on 80s cars. But Superfly is their new thing they're putting together, and they're going to join us at Time Trials Nationals this year. And then the intention right now is for have them join us at every event we hold in 2026 as well. So I'm super
That's
excited
awesome.
about that. I'm excited to bring the car culture aspect to our events, and have a big party going on in the paddock.
How's the 2026? This may be way far out, but how's the 2026 schedule shaping up so far?
Interesting you asked that. In one area we have it pretty much locked down. In east of the Rockies we don't.
Okay.
We're working hard on it. We
A
have
little
some
bit of
tracks in mind.
foreshadowing.
We've been reaching out, but we definitely want to do four tracks plus Time Trials Nationals east of the Rockies. We have some tracks we went to this year that we can re-up, and we're looking to do that. But we also have some tracks we're reaching out to see if we can't land some quote-unquote bigger fish or different fish that might be enticing to some folks. So we'll see what we got. Hopefully, the goal is I would like to announce the 2026 schedule for the country at TTN in September. So
Awesome.
TTN's Time Trials Nationals, September 19th through 21st.
Cool.
So I got to ask a few more questions about Superfly, man. So give us a little bit more detail. So you compared it to Radwood. What are they really gonna be bringing to this party? Like, obviously, we're not gonna draw too many comparisons to other events and other things that are going on. But what is the thing that you believe that they're going to be able to bring in with Superfly that's just gonna be that extra icing on the cake, cherry on top for the SCCA?
Yeah, the thing I love about Superfly is I think it fits both the cars that show up already, and then the people that are showing up. So Radwood is obviously based on 80s cars. That was the big thing. That's part of the Radwood. Or Superfly takes it and it's for 90s and early 2000s. So I don't know about you guys, but for my age, it's like the heart. That's where that's the cars we love, right? So all the cars from that area. So you're talking Fast and Furious type stuff. You're talking body kits and stuff like that still. But then you're talking some really cool exotic cars. Like one of the cars I saw was a nicely tuned up Lotus Esprit Turbo. We had
sick.
Walker's R34, at least a replica. I don't know if it's the actual one or not. But yeah, everything from Porsches to Civics to K trucks, that kind of thing. But the cool thing is it's not just a car show, right? It's a whole party environment. There's a whole vibe going on with it. DJ and potentially some bands, and then they bring in pinball machines. They got RC drift cars. It's just there's lots going on, lots of ways for our participants to engage and to have something to do outside of just hitting the track. So I think for me, it's a really, really cool opportunity to broaden the car culture aspect of our events.
That's super cool.
I think that's great. I think that's an absolutely amazing thing to do. I mean, so Kilgore, quick thing, obviously, your favorite 90s car.
Whew, man, that is tough.
Or what brings you to that era, I guess you could say.
Yeah. I mean, I think I always go back and think of like the what is it? The Mark IV Supras.
Okay. I'm a little cheaper, man. I'm a cheaper guy. I like a good.
What is
it? I had an EF Civic, right? I had a 91 Civic.
Dodge Chariot.
Dude, buddies of mine had EGs, had what's the next series? Dang it. EF, EG, EK. Yeah. So honestly, like EK Civics to me, like embodies like 90s car culture a little bit for me. All my buddies had a bunch of Civics and stuff like that. Integras. Honestly, like when I think 90s, like immediately that's where my headspace goes to. Maybe that's just because that's, where my dollars and cents that I could afford were. I mean, don't get me wrong. When I thought of Kilgore, I immediately thought of like the 90s BMWs, which I don't know the chassis codes of those cars.
E36 M3s, naturally.
There you go. Like obviously for Euro guys and stuff like that, dude, like talk about like when you think of really, really cool cars. Like still to this day, when I go to the track, nothing against new cars, but I'll look over and I'll be like, yeah, it's I want, believe me, I want a 911 or a Cayman. Like more than anything on this planet, I want one. But I'll like drive by and I'll see like, a 2015 through like 2020 Porsche anything. And I'm like, nice car. And just kind of like walk by. Like, I'm not going to stop unless it's like something super weird or interesting. But man, I'll roll by like an EK, and if it's like just clean, I'll be like, whoa, this thing is super clean. Like, let me go check this thing out. Like, I don't know. It's just how I am. It's just how it's built. Funny enough, I have a Mustang now, but I guarantee you if I passed a 90s Mustang, I'm not stopping. Sorry, guys.
But you know what I think that is? I think there's multiple reasons, but I think the biggest reason is, it's the line from like Gone in 60 Seconds. He's like, what is this? What is this? And they mentioned the car. I can't remember what it is. And he's like, yeah. There's 5 of those at the Starbucks every morning.
Yeah.
But if I see this, and it's the love and dedication to that car. When you see a clean example that's set up right, that's just you recognize, what's the saying? Game recognizes game, right? You
Yeah.
recognize the love and the passion that's put into that car. And that's, like I said, that's why I'm excited about this thing, because it's whether you're doing time attack or you're doing car show, it's still you're picking a car you love and you're doing a thing with it, right? Whether you're showing it or you're taking it on track and trying to run it as fast as you possibly can. It's the basis of what you're doing is the same. It's just how you express that love changes ever so slightly. So
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
Well, I think it's super cool because I know for me, if I'm at an event, I'm driving, there's a lot of focus on, prepping your car, making sure it's still running, doing all these things. But there's also times where you have some downtime, right? Like you're waiting for your next session. And it's always fun when there's other things going on or you have other car shows, cool cars to go look at that aren't just race cars. Sometimes it's nice to see super clean examples of street cars, whatever that is. So it's always fun to be able to go and do something a little different other than continually watch cars go around the track, or see more and more race cars. But I think that's also the reverse for the same people that are coming to the car show. They then get to go see all these super cool race
Yeah.
cars. And so you have this mixing, which I think it just works really well.
Agreed. And then you have the spectator element. So you have people coming in to check out the car show and or the time attack. And for me, it's, I got to give shout out to my guy, John Lugod. He kind of clued me in on this a little bit, because I always love the car show aspect of it. But he mentions like, families go to car shows.
Yeah.
Kids walk around and they point at the cars and they love the cars and they're little and they're into cars. Well, if they go to a car show that's at a track where people are doing time attack and stuff like that, and they see, oh man, there's a Miata doing that, or there's a Honda Fit doing that, or there's a car that's attainable. They're like, oh, I can do this too. Like, and that's something when we did, so we did 2 VIR events, with a group called Driver. They sell and import cars, that kind of stuff. And they always had a car show. They did their car show as part of our event at VIR. And I tell you, man, walking through the paddock, you heard that a lot. It's like, oh wait, I can do this with my car. And the second year we went there, we filled out the novice group. The year before we had like 9 cars. Next year, boom, tons of novices. We had a ton of people showing up that, realized, oh man, this is something I can actually go do. This is awesome. So it builds it builds both ways, right? You get spectators coming in and they want to do the thing that they're watching happening on the track because they realize, hey, that's it, something is attainable for me.
Yeah.
So
That's really cool. Here, I just had this idea. I'm going to throw it out there to you. You can take it, leave it. You can also tell me like, no, that's stupid. We're not going to do it. But when you started talking about spectators, one of the things that I love is, I don't know if we haven't really done it with SCCA, but they've done it at Global Time Attack. They've done it with some Grid Life stuff. But if you have like at a lunchtime, like a grid walk, right, where you line up some cars, it could be kind of cool to like get a selection of Superfly cars on one side and then a selection of like of the race cars on the other, and kind of have like a grid walk so people can kind of come down, talk to the race car drivers, talk to the Superfly car owners, and you kind of have this like, this alleyway of kind of two different types of cars, but yet still all within the same car culture. Could be fun. I don't know.
that could be cool. That could be really rad, especially if you have similar cars, like you have an FD Time Attack car and you have FD show car.
Yeah,
kind
that'd be
of side
awesome.
by side. That would be really cool. Yeah, that'd be pretty rad. So the other thing that's cool about this is the car show doesn't end when the track stuff ends. That's actually when the party starts kicking up. You got the DJ playing, you got lights going, all that kind of stuff. You got that going into tonight. So it gives, once you're done with track, it's time to let loose a little bit and either celebrate those new PBs or drink away the field. You got something to do it, check out and hang out and do that kind of stuff. So I'm just stoked. I'm really stoked on the whole thing. I think it's going to be really awesome. They had one of their events at Akron, in Akron, Ohio, when we were at Pocono, and they're just revitalizing this car show, and they still had just under 1,000 cars at this car show. So we're actually talking about how we potentially limit the amount. It makes it a little bit more special for some of these shows if need be, depending on what tracks we're going to, that kind of stuff. So I think it's going to be, I think it's going to be pretty legit. I think it's going to be a good time.
Well, you're going to have plenty of room at pit race. That's for sure.
Yes, we have a lot of room. The whole autocross area, if you've ever been there, is going to be set up for their car show. So it's going to be a good time.
Here at the Perfect Lap Podcast, we're happy to introduce Whoosh Bespoke Wheels as a sponsor of the show. Whoosh Bespoke was born out of necessity. Their race team struggled to find wheels that offer the perfect fit, strength, durability, and that big old thing, a reasonable price. The people behind Whoosh Bespoke are racers and engineers seeking engineering excellence, and they offer precision forged wheels crafted by racers for racers, with a product lineup that includes a wide range of options from monoblock to modular wheels, including 2- and 3-piece wheel designs, all engineered from the finest materials, although they do primarily use 6061 T6 forged aluminum, but they do offer things as high of quality as a magnesium alloy. So this really can work for any setup you're trying to go for. Customization is at the heart of what they do at Whoosh Bespoke. You can tailor your wheels with custom sizes, offsets, finishes, and even options like custom lettering, adding two-tones. Their colors include both standard and premium finishes, as well as special finishes like brushed, hand-polished, and even paint to sample. Every set of wheels produced exceeds the JWL standards and meets the rigorous WCEC quality standards, and they are tested by real people with real cars racing all around the world. And guess what? Me and Kilgore, we're also going to be part of that team. So we're going to be putting these things to the test. We're putting them on our cars. Kilgore's going to be repping out and going through all the Time Attack season. I'm going to be beating them up at HPDE days and just having a good time with them. So I want you to go take a look at them and make sure you give them a follow on all their socials. It's whooshautomotive.com, Whoosh Automotive on all the socials. Go check them out.
Let's talk a little bit specifically about Time Trial Nationals and how that's looking so far. We've got a month and a half or so until that event. So how are things coming together for that? And then give us a little bit of an idea of maybe what are some of the specifics that are going to be going on with Superfly as well as the racing itself for nationals?
Yeah, I think we're in between a month and a half, month and a week, something like that. I get a little sweaty every time I think about it.
Lots to do.
The Time Trials Nationals this year is 3 days. It's going to be the Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But on Thursday, we have the Ultimate Track Car Challenge with Grassroots Motorsports. So I'll kick everything off. And alongside that, we'll have a test day for anybody who hasn't really been to pit race. If they want to jump in and get some testing done, they can jump in on that. And then at the end of the day, we're going to have Track Night in America because we need more track time going on, obviously. So if you're looking for extra seat time coming to Time Trials Nationals, you have a test day and you have Track Night in America that you can jump in on. So all the time in the world you can get to get kind of situated and make sure you're ready to go for Time Trials Nationals. We're, like you said, a little over a month away. We're about almost 2/3 full. So we're getting there. I think we're going to see a pretty good late push. We've seen a lot of late push with our events recently. So this is kind of my shot across the bow to everybody who's waiting to register. I would register earlier than later because we had people on the wait list at Autobahn that didn't get to come in and join us because they waited a little too late and there was a late rush. So I'd get on it quickly. Cool thing that we haven't talked about, that's something we've added as an organization, is we're now using PayPal or working with PayPal. So if you go to register, that's one of the payment options you have. So even though our normal process, the payment would go through right away, with use PayPal, you can actually set that up where you can have the payment go through in stages or however you want to do it.
Cool.
So it's a really good option if it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not ready to spend the money just yet. Use the PayPal, get you in, get you set up. But yeah, 3 days. There's going to be 2 scoring segments, your 2 fastest lap times. We're going to take Friday and Saturday, put those together, and then we're going to take Sunday by itself. Of course, if weather comes in, it gives us an opportunity to play with that and kind of move things around to make sure that we have the best opportunity to get really good laps from both scored sessions.
Same track layout for both all
Yeah, we're
weekend?
just gonna this year we're gonna stick with one layout. I know at NCM everybody knew we kind of broke the track apart a little bit on Saturday. This year, first year pit race, we're just gonna do the full track. We're gonna leave it as a full track, and just kind of get our feet underneath us at pit race and make sure that everything flows the way we expect and want, and we get the best experience we can before we do anything a little bit different. If we do anything a little different in the future. The one thing that I'll give people a heads up on, we'll be sending out communication to those signed up to make sure that they know they can set up their timing stuff. There's a timing loop that we'll be using, and I can't remember the corner that'll be coming up. But if you've ever been to pit race, you've got turn 1 coming off the pits, and you kind of dip down into that big loop and you come up the hill. Well, there's a timing loop kind of right there that we'll be using as our start finish. That way we can get into time lapse sooner, and then we can get cars off quicker, but it will give you a nice amount of cool down area, unlike NCM where it was pretty quick after that loop. So you'll have a lot more time to cool down the brakes before you on the way in for pits and stuff like that. So that's kind of the competition side of things. And then party side of things, we'll obviously have our normal social welcome party on Friday. We'll do the expo or park ferme thing like we always do. We're put all the class cars together, gives everybody an opportunity to take a look at the cars and see who they're competing against, to get to know each other. We'll make food during that, obviously. We're working on a couple other additional fun things to do during that to liven up the party a little bit, whether it be karaoke or something like that. We'll figure it out.
Hey, John. So
Yeah.
I just want to kind of tack on that for a little bit. So one thing that I can definitely say from events I've gone to near times, I think you guys are hitting on a very important factor for the community as a whole, right? So that's something that, generally speaking, people come in, they pit, they, kind of put themselves in a little box and say, this is our little friend group and this is all we talk to, this is all we do. And yeah, you might explore out maybe the guy who's pitted next to you, or, a guy with the same car as you because, you need some parts. But it really doesn't motivate you to go and have a lot of conversation or like get to know other people. And I think we can all agree that it's easier, or should I say, it's more difficult to be mad at someone on track if you've met them in person and go, dude, I was hanging out with that guy all last night. He was super cool, super chill. Like, there's no way he was trying to block me on purpose. But if you didn't know him, if you never talked to him, it's easy to go down the path of, this guy's a jackwagon. He sucks. This sucks. We don't, so I think that's a really cool thing that you guys at the SCCA are doing to really push that agenda, to really get guys out together, just having a good time, learning, being together. I don't know. I think that's a really cool factor of like how you guys run your events. That's something that obviously there's definitely some reclusive people out there that are like introverted to the bone that just are like, really, I have to talk to people. But I really do think that it's something that can be hugely beneficial to all these people. So I'm excited that you guys do that. I think that's something that, we should kind of really applaud you guys for in your efforts, because it's not easy. Like those type of things to get people to set this up. Like you said, oh, I'm going to do park for me. I'm going to set it up with cars. I'm going to set it up with food. I'm going to give you something to do, just all those things. Really hard to do. So I really applaud you guys for taking the time to do that kind of stuff.
I appreciate it. That's part of the reason we do the impounds after every session as well, is like it gives you an opportunity to get to know people in your group, specifically to make sure that it humanizes the cars you're around. So like you said, if they make a mistake, you have a better understanding that it's probably not on purpose. You might think it's on purpose, but it's probably not on purpose. And the other thing is it just lets you game plan, right? We are about clean laps. That is, as a driver and an event organizer, that is always in the forethought of my brain, is like, I want people to get good clean laps, because that's how you're going to set a new PB or set a new track record. That kind of thing is not have traffic. So our goal is to facilitate that. And then we work with the drivers and we ask the drivers to be engaged in that process by talking to the other drivers that are around them and making plans and working as a team to make sure that everybody has that opportunity. It's one of those things where it's like the old holiday, Christmas thing, is better to give than receive. Well, it's like the more you give and make sure that other people get their clean laps, the more you're going to get clean laps yourself, right? I'm a big proponent of that, and I think Mark's run with us. We've had other drivers I think would stand by and testify to that approach works, and it works really well.
I like how you say Mark's run with us, so the entire audience is having wagers on which one did it. I will say
we won't tell.
I have desires. I definitely have desires. I feel extremely bad that I did not make it out to Las Vegas. My buddy Chris Reber went out with you guys and had a great time in his Mustang, and he is one fast man out there driving, so he's always a good time.
It's funny you mentioned that. We should do something about that. Should we do something about that?
We absolutely need to. I mean, put it this way, I've put all sorts of like gangbuster things on Kilgore to get him to come out to Buttonwillow. So I guess I'm going to have to put something on myself to get me out to an SCCA event here sooner than later.
Well, if only there was one that was close.
Closer to you.
If only there was one that was closer to me, I would absolutely be there in a hurry. So John, what are we going to do about that? What are you going to do for the West Coast time attackers out there like myself?
I'm just brainstorming here, and maybe I'm brainstorming things that we have actually set into place for this next year. But when we mentioned that the east of the Rockies isn't kind of set, but the west of the Rockies, we have a pretty good idea of what our schedule is going to look like. Still nailing down to confirm the dates, but they exist. So we are going to bring the SCCA Time Attack Series Challenge to the West Coast. We're going to have a West Coast Series Challenge specific. It's going to be 3 events at this point. Still considering a 4th, but right now 3 feels good. Working with our good friends at Global Time Attack. We're going to line up and work with those guys. And we're going to kick it off with one of my favorite track managers, and really, really fun, awesome track, Thunder Hill. So right now we're going to hit Thunder Hill, we're going to hit the Ridge, and we're going to hit Buttonwillow. And it's going to be SCCA Time Attack. It's going to be Global Time Attack, Superfly. We're gonna bring all the party. Like,
That sounds like a good
Okay.
time. That sounds like a really good time. So
Yeah.
maybe
Let's
this is
break
a good
into
time to
this.
come out and do the Ridge.
Let's break into this on like an exponentially deeper level. So SCCA is going to put down roots in the West Coast time attack scene. Not only are you going to put down roots in the West Coast time attack scene, but you are also going to team up with JD and Global Time Attack to really put forth a ton of effort and really show the West Coast themselves, that SCCA is absolutely serious about bringing them time attack. So that is absolutely amazing. I love to hear this. Obviously, we gave you a lot of crap in our previous episode about where's the West Coast, and this is one of those things, guys. This is John Hunter and the SCCA listening and saying, yeah, you guys are right. Like, we need to do this. So we vastly appreciate you guys taking the time, taking the energy. And so my call out, my challenge to all these West Coast time attackers are show up. I need you guys to show up. I know there's cars out there that are being built. I'm looking at a guy named Austin Sierra on my live stream that could show up to some of these events, right? I need you guys to show up to these events, be present, run, have a good time. Now, I will say this. So how are you guys going to interact with GTA? How's this all going to work? Is it planned? Are we working on it? What are we doing?
The cool thing is we've worked with JD and Global Time Attack before. Obviously, we've done events at Bunt Willow with them. We've done events at the Ridge with them, New Jersey even. So we know each other really well. Right now, we're going to have 2 events going at one time. So, right, we'll have the SCCA event going. We'll have the Global Time Attack event going. There are cars, obviously, that don't cross over for either one. And it makes sense for the cars that don't cross over land in the event that makes sense for them. But then there are cars that do cross over. And that's the thing that we're still working on. I really hope and really want to be able to make it an opportunity for people to double dip. Not sure how that presents yet, but I think that would be really awesome where people can go after both, right? You want to run Global Time Attack, but you want to get into that SCCA West Coast Series Challenge, possibly get a series championship out of it as well. So we're going to facilitate that.
Let me ask a quick question there. It is going to be its own like 3 race championship. It will be totally separate from the current Tire Rack Time Attack Championship. Yep.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's different stuff going to go on the east side of the country. But as Jager mentioned, this is okay, we hear you. Like, you, West Coast, you have a legit time attack scene. I know you do. I'm out here. I see it. We're going to plant some roots. We're going to show up. We're going to give you a place to run where you can run for a series championship. With a national organization, and Global Time Attack is going to come along. We're going to work together and we're going to do this thing. And I want to see it grow from there. Like, that's my goal. Whether you talk to JD, myself, or Adam from Grid Live, all of us just want to see this whole thing grow.
Yep.
Rising tides raise all boats, right? So we're all about the growth. And the one thing that I heard, like, loud and clear, I told Jager as we were coming on here, didn't go in one ear and out the other, is want somebody to show up and to be present and do a thing out here on the West Coast. So I was like, all right. I went and talked to Hayward and my boss and said, this is the thing we're going to do. We can't just show up with one event. One event is enough. We got to show up. Let's bring a series. Let's bring a party. Let's show up in a big way. So we're going to do it. We're going to throw down, and we're going to see who shows up, and
That's
hopefully
awesome.
everybody does. And hopefully we have a really good time all the way around.
Yeah, I mean, that makes me super freaking excited to just hear going to 3 events. Thunderhill, I mean, obviously we have people like On Grid who do throw time attack events there. But other than On Grid, I can't think of anybody off the top of my head that are really running time attack at Thunderhill. Anytime a group goes to a new track, I immediately give the call out to everybody and say, look, here's your opportunity. Because one of the things that you hear from all these people all the time is, oh, that record at such and such in that class is just such a high bar. I can't get there. There's no, I could be wrong. I don't think so, but I don't think there is an actual like SCCA or GTA record set at that course. So it should allow people to have an opportunity. So I'm just saying, guys, it's again, these are the opportunities that, easily. I know I took advantage of this. Chuck Walla came into the scene. No one had been there before. I went and ran an organization. Whoever won in that class, guess what? You got the record, right? So something that's really cool, my opinion.
Not to fully burst the bubble, but we've been to all 3 tracks with SCCA event.
Okay.
We've been
Okay.
to Thunder Hill, we've been to Thunder Hill West, we've been to Ridge, and we've been to Button Willow. But that doesn't mean there aren't records for the taking.
I was gonna say, how
Right.
long has it been now?
Absolutely.
It's been a minute,
Yeah.
and the
Tire
events haven't been
technology.
huge. So, like, there's. I look at it this way: whether there's a record or not, you should be aiming, right? Like,
Oh,
and
yeah.
even if you don't think that a record's attainable, what's that PB? What are you looking for? And then, even if, well, let's put this. I'm stumbling on words, and it feels really weird, but if you want to get a clean lap, if you want to see what you can truly run, I feel like we are going to be the best organization to do that with. Like I said, we've talked about it before. We work really hard to give clean laps, really, really hard. We were talking about Audubon earlier when we were there this last weekend. It's a 2.1 mile track. We had 21 cars in each group. And I would say the lead car got 2 to 3 laps clean. Everybody got 2 to 3 laps clean. Like, there was some passing here and there, but I would say the majority of the drivers, if you ask them, they got clean laps. And that's because we work really hard to get those deltas right. We work really hard to get the cars together in the right way. The cars you start with may not be the cars you end with, because it might make sense to move you to a different group. And it doesn't mean it's a slower group. It doesn't mean it's an intermediate versus advanced. All it means is this is the place that's going to be best for you to get your best time. And that's why we move cars, and that's how we move cars.
Yeah. I'm just going to say, if I would have just looked at the SCCA's website for 2 seconds, I could have gone to the track records and personal bests, and I could immediately have seen that you definitely have been there, and there are records set there. Again, I love this feature on the SCCA's website. Sorry to butt in with a random factoid. I love this feature on this website. I love that I can go look at Mustang records and Subaru records and just understand where people are at, what's going on, and what I'm going to be chasing just to start with. So yeah, don't stop doing this. This is how it's done right. Love this. So yeah, sorry. If I'd have just looked for 2 seconds, I could have found that information out.
Yeah, that was one of our pet projects, and it's evolving. It's still undergoing work, but it was really important to me. I wanted to be a place where, if we've been to the track, people can look and say, okay, what's a good time? Yeah. What's a good time for a chassis? What's a good time for a class? What's a good time for, what did that driver run? That I do. I also really like that aspect of our website. I'm not going to lie.
Well, and speaking of the website, let's say someone is interested in building a car for the SCCA organization for the time trials. Where can they go find rules, figure out where their car fits, right? Give them, I'm not sure when the first race is going to be. Obviously, this is going to be 2026, I assume.
I'll tell you right now, the Thunder Hill event will be in June.
Okay.
Nice.
All right. So, you've got some time, but where can people go find the rules so that they can start making sure that their car is built to the full extent of the rules and they give it the best shot they can?
Yeah, if you go to timetrials.scca.com, and then across the top, you'll have get started, find events, the records, results, that kind of thing that Jager just pulled up. But they also have classic and rules. And I'll have each one of our classes. If you click on that, each one of our classes laid out, but then it also has a classic and quick start guide, which kind of gives you a brief synopsis of what each class is, what it consists of, how the philosophy behind the class. And then if you click on the actual class, you can get down into the nitty gritty of the rules and that kind of thing. And to do a quick synopsis, sport is basically, you know, basic shocks, lowering springs, catback exhaust, stuff you can do in your drive with hand tools. You know, nothing that's going to be a lot of tinkering and adjusting and tuning. And then tuner takes another step forward with coilovers and header and a tune on the car and stuff like that. Max is where you introduce engine swaps and aero and flares and all the rad stuff that goes on. And then unlimited is pretty much send it. As long as it started as a production car or looks like it started as a production car, it's pretty much good to go. If anybody knows like the Steve Luca and the Jimmy Raups of the world, those two guys run an unlimited one and unlimited two. So there's really a place to play for everybody, and that's we talked about this last time I was on here. We get knocked sometime because there's so many classes. Well, there's 20. Yeah, there's a few classes, but all that means is you have a better opportunity to actually compete versus show up with a car that you never have a chance for podium. You're not going to sniff at, but you're just there turning laps and getting good laps. And that's cool and that's rad. And I encourage it. I did that at the on-grid event. I knew I wasn't going to win sport in my ND. But I was going to show up and I was going to put down and I was going to see what kind of time I could run and see if I can get some people's attention with it. But if I had been running an SCCA event, I might have podium, might have pulled out a win, So that's the cool thing is it gives you an opportunity. It gives everybody an opportunity to have a little bit more competition. So.
And Michael Barnes is on our live stream right now, and he's saying he's had 15 minutes clean sessions at Autobahn, having the best time of his life. Really appreciates what you guys do at the SCCA. So
Barnes, my boy, appreciate him.
Well, and
dude.
I will echo that. Not that my opinion counts for a whole lot, but SCCA has one of the best driver-centric, track-centric focuses of all the time attack organizations. If you're wanting to get the most amount of track time, the cleanest amount of track time, and for it to be run in a very organized and efficient way, SCCA does that the best. There's no doubt about it. And I continually tell people, especially those who are looking to get into time attack, SCCA is a great place to go to. And John, as you just said, there's a lot of there's not too many in my opinion but there's a lot of classes where you can get started. You can run with other cars that are similar to yours. You can see what other people are doing, right? And you can talk to other people who may be going through the same thing that you are, right? Or maybe you're having an issue with your car. There could be someone else who has a similar car to yours, right? And so it just allows you to run with similar-minded people in similar prepped cars. And again, as you alluded to earlier, you guys really focus on communication among drivers, and that is, in my opinion, probably the biggest sole reason that you get the cleanest laps that you do. Everybody's on the same page. And when everyone's on the same page, everybody's working together. It's amazing how easy that it all works. It just works. And this was something Jager and I were talking about on our last episode. Just communicate with the people around you. And we talked about this last time you were on the podcast, but the impound, I absolutely love that you guys do that. It allows you to know who's around you, talk to them, figure out what their strategy is, what your strategy is, how everyone can work their strategy together, and everybody's happy. So just, I applaud you guys, as Jager said earlier, applaud you guys for everything that you do. And it is, John's not just, when he's saying that they run some of the best track events, he's not just blowing smoke.
There's no fluff.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I've done all three organizations in terms of Global Time Attack, Grid Life, and SCCA. Cleanest laps, most amount of laps in a weekend by far goes to the SCCA. So
here's a quick question for you. You're saying you're teaming up with Global Time Attack to run this event out of these three tracks. Two questions. First of all, which track are you most excited to go to? Are you going to get any time on track? So that's my two-part question, and then I'll have another one in a minute. Go for it.
It's interesting because I've never turned a wheel at Buttonwillow.
Really?
No,
You're
I've
not
been
you're
there a
not
couple
missing
times,
much,
but
John.
I've never driven it. I've driven the Ridge a lot, and I love that track. It is
So
a
good.
challenge. It is a really good challenge. And that as a driver, that's what I like. I like a track that makes you work for it. Um, and so I love that track. And Thunder Hill, I've driven west, but I've never driven east. Um, I'll do it this way. Thunder Hill, I'm really excited to go to because I love me some Matt Busby. That man, the track manager, he's a treasure. I love him as a friend. Um, he wants to see he wants to see Time Attack grow. Um, and he's part of us. He's one of us, right? The Ridge I want to go to because it's in my backyard. It's 2 hours from home. Um, and I love the Pacific Northwest and the Bud Willow. It's it's the gold standard, right? I mean, if we're talking Time Attack on the West Coast, what else are we talking about? Like it's Bud and Willow.
Yep.
That's you got to be. So um, I'm excited for all three, and I know that's the easy answer. It's a cop out. I get it.
It is a cop out. It is a
But
cop
it's
out.
legit. I wouldn't go with those three if it wasn't for the fact that those all three of those bring something that makes me happy about it. We looked at another track and it's got to be a thing. It's got to be a track. It's got to be a Time Attack track. It's got to be a good time. That to me, that's important. Am I going to show up as a driver? I'm just going to leave with I hope so. I would love to get some seat time at these events as well. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. November, Button Willow. Wouldn't mind getting my car down. Like I said, I've never driven that. Wouldn't mind getting my car down there and see what kind of laps I can turn. So we'll see. We'll go with we'll see.
Okay, so I'll go out on a limb, and I'll rate him for you. I'll rate him for you. If I had to take my number one pick, it would be Thunder Hill, and that's because I've never
Which one?
driven Thunder Hill. I've never even been on the premises of Thunder Hill.
Uh,
So, second choice, this is gonna be kind of weird, Ridge, because I've never driven fast at the Ridge, but in my slow laps of the Ridge, the track just looked absolutely stunning and just looked immensely like just one of the tracks that I think about. Like it's a track I think about is like I really want to go there and run a car. Obviously, I do have affinity for Buttonwillow, but I've been there a million times and yada yada yada. So I'm definitely picking the other two tracks. And honestly, the pick between the Ridge and Thunder Hill, I'm gonna give On Grid probably the most amount of credit for my desire to run Thunder Hill. They promote it, they run it all the time, and they always have me second guessing my choice of not going. And I constantly look at them and I'm like, I need to go up there. I need to go. Oh, I need to try that out. Like it constantly have me thinking about it. So, great, props to their marketing department and them sending me a ton of emails saying to go there, and I just am too lazy.
Even a team, they work their butt off. They throw a good event. They throw a good party. A lot of props to them for what they do. So, yeah, I get that. They do a good job of hyping that stuff up, especially Thunder Hill.
Next question. Have you guys figured out like who's running the event in terms of like who's going to be doing the track, like the organization of the track per se, I guess you could say?
That's actually both, and that's the way it worked previously. Is we'll have distinct. This is Global Time Attack session. This is SCCA session, and there's a handoff method, and that's the way we're kind of used to doing it. I'm sure there will be some blending of team. When it comes to like timing and stuff like that. Like I said, that's some of the stuff we got work out, but doing the boring stuff like sanctioning and insurance and all that kind of stuff, there are some lines we'll have to draw for actual like who's in control of track when certain groups are out. But we've done that before, and I don't see it being. I don't think it will be front facing noticeable.
Okay.
It just typically hasn't been. Like I said, JD and his crew are pros. They know exactly what they're doing. We know what we're doing. So having done this before with them, I think people won't even notice that it's a different group. They're just going to see a different group of cars out there.
I mean, honestly, I'm not worried on either group running it. Like obviously I haven't ran with you guys, but running with JD, running with their group for a long time. They're pretty tight. They're
Yeah.
pretty well groomed. I always say this: it's up to the drivers. A lot of the times, it's up to the drivers. Obviously, we rely on our organizations to drill the teaching into them, and that is a huge factor of this. So I'm going to apologize to you ahead of time for the West Coast time attackers, in the fact of their sloppiness at times. Um,
I will say this, and to counterpoint you there a little bit. Um, One of the first time attack events I did was at Oregon Raceway Park. It was with On Grid, and I was honestly really, really impressed by the other drivers in that session. I got put in the back of the pack because obviously they had no idea who I was, and I'm in a Miata. Why would they be anywhere but back of the pack, right? Um, and I gave myself a gap. I was trying not to take too much. I didn't want to affect the person first car out, but I took a gap. And in that very first lap, I was catching cars pretty quick, nearly over, gave point by. Like the culture of just like, nope, I'm not going to hold up another driver on their fast lap. Is something that I've noticed on the West Coast, and I think is amazing, and I think is awesome. And I appreciate it, and that's something that we want to see across the United States. And I think the East Coast does pretty good about that, but I think the West Coast does legit. I think they're pretty good
I think they've had
at
it
whole, like
drilled into their head.
it's like the canyon run rule. Like, you pull over when a car's coming up behind you. And I saw that, at least in my experiences with time attack groups out here. I think it exists. So I don't think we'll have a hard time with that other group. So we'll just kind of fortify it and drill it down a little bit more, and it'll be awesome.
And I'm just going to give a quick shout out. James Taylor, I'm rocking his shirt right now for his company. He'll definitely be at the Ridge. So James Taylor, you better get your butt to the Ridge, and you better be at this SCA/GTA Time Attack event. I know he's going to the GTA Time Attack event here in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's the weekend after this, and I'm so bummed I can't be there. We're going to be, like I said, I'm going to be out of town. I really wanted to show up. Whether I was driving or not, I wanted to hang out with JD and the crew and just talk to people at the event and have a good time and kind of talk about what we're doing this next year. I'm kind of leaving JD on the hook. He's gonna have to answer all the questions without me being there, but I think he'll do all right. He's pretty good.
I think he'll do just fine. But I mean, obviously, like anytime else, he'd love to have you there. Obviously, like you talked about before, all these organizations support each other, help each other, and just try to keep time attack, time trial, all those things moving in the right direction and bringing it towards all the time attackers out there, right? Making it accessible, making it available, and just really making it so we can all go have fun when we want to have fun. So, yeah.
I
So,
guess I gotta know if an Indy Miata doesn't show up at the Ridge, how much is it to rent one, maybe for a weekend?
Oh,
If someone's got an Indy Miata around there, and someone was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come run an Indy Miata at the Ridge."
I think you reach out to the right person, they can make that happen.
All right.
Make that happen.
I want to go run me down some Mustangs.
Oh my God. So we'll take a quick second. I did the on-grid event, and I think it was the second session out. I pull into grid, and on the left of me is a ZL11LE. And on the right of me is a Hellcat. So I had my friend take a picture of my little Indy Miata.
Oh, I saw this.
650 some horsepower cars. And I put it on Instagram, and I was like, I'm in danger. And apparently it made its way on Reddit, and it was a whole thing.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was, you can chase yourself some Mustangs down, depending.
All right. If you had a blue Mustang with a wing, maybe a splitter, some suspension,
sounds like a Max 3 car to me.
Where might that fall? Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like a Max 3 car to me. Probably weighs a little over 3,800 pounds with a driver in it. Has some aero. Motor, stock motor. Stock motor. Oh yeah, that's Max 3. The heart of Max 3. I call the Max 3 cars. Between you and me, I call it the pony show. The Camaros, it's where the big boys go. That's where the muscle cars live, with the ones you put the aero and all that stuff on them. That way they don't have to deal with those pesky vets and cars like that. So
Cheater cars. That's what it is.
yeah.
Ain't that the truth? Yeah, I'm just gonna segue myself for like 2 seconds. One thing that's like great and terrible about my Mustang is just the fact that like I love everything about like making it handle right and driving it and having a great time with it. But every time, I get on freaking Instagram or I get on TikTok or anything like that, it just is a barrage of turbocharging and supercharging saying like, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it. Like you just need to, and I've never supercharged a car. So it always pushes me to go, well, I've never done it before. Why not try a supercharger on for size?
I don't know. I'm one of those guys for on track. I like the NA. I like
I
the
agree.
linearity of the. I like the drivability. I like the control. Don't get me wrong. I like power. In fact, it was an interesting. I had a conversation at the Time Attack event and the Target event. We had a Caterham competing and watching this car run alongside C8 Z06s.
I wanted one of those for so long.
And I looked at a friend. I was like, man, if you gave me the option of more power or less weight, I'm going to take less weight every single time. For me, it's the weight. I want to feel that lateral G, and I want to increase that lateral G as much as I can, whether it be by weight. Eventually, I'm going to throw some aero with the car, that kind of thing. But power is fun. Power is awesome. But man, weight makes you stop faster, makes you corner faster, makes you accelerate faster. That's where I'm a big Lotus champion, or yeah,
Champion
big
for
fan
that.
of the Lotus approach.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely a cool way to do it. That's one thing with the Mustang. It's brutal. The car is so flippin' heavy, dude. It's definitely something I had to get used to, and you still kind of like fight it in every which way. I don't know. That's why you kind of look at it and you go, well, I can fix it a little bit if I add a supercharger. The funny thing is, I'm like, I don't know, I want like an extra 150 horsepower. And every supercharger is like, we're going to add 250. We're going to add 300. All I can think of is how much heat soak how many laps am I going to get? One? I'm going to get
Yep.
one lap and then I'm going to be sitting in the corner crying about how my car's overheating and I can't do any laps. And I don't know. I don't run that many laps because I do have a very like time attack mentality when I go on track where I literally go out, run like 2 hot laps, cool down, hot lap, cool down. And then I'm like, that's probably good. And I pull off, right? So it probably wouldn't be that bad, but I don't know. I'm weird like that where I just have that weird feeling of like if I do it, I'm probably just going to be spending all my money on that and never having fun again. So
There is a threshold where the wrenching becomes more than the seat time.
yeah, been there, done that one.
I think we all have.
It hurts, man. It hurts your soul. It makes it so it's just not as great. So I want to really kind of recap for the West Coast Time Attacker guys out there, right? So again, we got 3 tracks, SCCA coming at you, opportunities. They're paired with GTA, so we're working with another organization, but either which way. So now you have all sorts of different classing regulations you can work with. You have different opportunities that you can kind of partake in. This is huge news. Like I really cannot stress this enough to people where this is absolutely huge news. I want people to understand it. I want them to talk about it. And I want to see the forums ablaze, right? Because I want them to start asking you guys questions so we can start flushing these things out. Because like you talked about before, right? Like a cross-pollination aspect of maybe we can end up in a situation where I'm running max here and limited here, and those times count for both. And then obviously I can see where I stack up in both groups because there are situations like that where there's just who knows, right? So we'll see how it'll go. We'll see if it's a situation where that's available, and then I think it's going to be pretty freaking awesome. And again, I just want people to really start voicing their opinions, talking about this, mainly because the question, actually, as I stop myself dead in my tracks, I'm making assumptions, but are you guys going to probably team up with them for November and finals? Okay. So, yeah, that's a great time to do it. Weather is perfect for that. Just again, these aren't, and I say this because it's important. These aren't like we're adding a Button Willow track day in the middle of July when it's 115 degrees outside and it's going to be terrible. You're adding premium events with premium, essentially time attack, car show, people, audience, all of these different aspects to this, all in an event that is held at the right time of year to be comfortable to be at. So again, you guys made conscious, real choices to step up the game and put, the term money where your mouth is type situation, and really are giving the West Coast time attackers exactly what they're looking for, right? So I want people to really kind of heed to this, take heed and look into this, be a part of this, show what West Coast time attack is all about. And if that means, people from all across the country are coming to it, great, like absolutely phenomenal. But I want to see people come out of the woodworks, people that we haven't seen in years that are kind of been, waiting for some of these opportunities. And I really want to see them come out and be a part of it. So, our last guest, Tony Zerka, this is like a prime objective, right? Like get his car back running, get it working at the end of this year, 3 amazing events that he can attend to. How freaking awesome is that? He's got a car of champions, right? So stuff like that, guys just got to come out. They got to take part. What do you think, Kilgore? Think that's something that might be worth guys traveling across the country for? Think we'd be able to pull some guys on the West Coast out of retirement?
Absolutely, for sure. As we have clearly said, we think that the SCCA puts on fantastic events. We know that Global Time Attack also puts on fantastic events. So it makes a lot of sense for everyone to kind of come together. I guess we are, which we haven't really said it, but I guess we are letting people know that GTA is going to be at Thunder Hill next year.
Yeah. John said, "Oh, wait."
I sent JD a text. I was like, hey, I'm going to be on the podcast. We're going to talk about this. You cool?
Yeah. So that's absolutely solid. I'm excited, and I think it's fantastic. I guess a couple of questions, which is, and you may not know, and obviously I know every year, it's always year to year to a degree, but have you guys sort of planned a little bit of a runway for a couple of years to kind of make sure, right? We are going to invest, and we're going to, it's not just going to be a 1 year kind of see what happens and then be done, but we're at least going to do 2 years, 3 years, something like that.
So it's kind of been our approach recently. Like we started the Targa events, which I know we talked about the last one, where it's kind of multiple tracks over the course from Wednesday through the weekend. And we did okay this year. We want to see more teams show up, but we're doubling down. We're going to do it again next year because what we heard is people needed time to plan.
Sure.
The news came out and it just wasn't enough time. People make their plans, far in advance. And that's part of the reason I wanted to be on this show as early as I am with this news about the West Coast. And that's why we wanted to get the calendar nailed down. We'll have an article coming out on our website about the West Coast events and the series, hopefully by next week, mainly so people can plan. And that's the thing is we've been to the West Coast a few times, but it's only been with one event. And like I said, we hear you, it's hard to invest in a group when you only bring one event.
Sure.
But they haven't done great. And we need to do well. But no, it's one of those things where if we see the right signs, we're coming back. And it's like my intention is to do this not just 1-2 years. This is a thing. I don't see why this shouldn't be a thing that lives on till we don't do time attack anymore. Let's not even think about 1 or 2 years. Let's just think about let's go. Let's grow this thing so that people will travel from the West Coast to the East Coast and we can do one big event somewhere.
That's what I'm talking about.
Let's get it going. Let's just grow the sport.
A championship of championships.
Yeah.
Sounds legit to me.
Yeah. One other question I wanted to follow up with was, not only, I guess you may not know totally for next year, but at least for going back to Time Trial Nationals at Pit Race this year. You guys are going to have Superfly, going to have a lot of stuff going on. If people are like, oh, this is going to be cool, there's going to be things for my family to come to or people in the area to come to. Are there going to be like ticket sales? Are there going to be spectator tickets? Like, how can they get people into the gates to come and check out the weekend?
Yep, that's exactly, and that'll be all of the events next in 2026 too with Superflies. There's a spectator fee, but we're keeping it low. Like their goal is, I mean, even their car show entry is really low. It's not an expensive thing at all. The idea is to make sure that we can put on an event that gives you everything you want, which costs money to do.
Yeah.
Yep.
But we want to make it accessible. We want to make it family friendly. We want to make it easy for people to do. So we're talking, not very much money. Can't
And
remember
will that be through
exactly,
will that
but
be through the SCCA website or through Superfly, or how will people be able to figure
so
that
for
out?
spectators, it's pay at the gate. It'll be
Oh,
pay
pay
at
at
the
the
gate.
gate. Okay, cool.
Are we going to
So,
have churro trucks?
you know, I'm not against it.
I mean, I'm
Love
all
me some churros.
for a solid churro.
Love me some churros. I like taco trucks. Pit Race already has a barbecue truck, but yeah, we're looking to bring in like I can't remember if it was cotton candy or ice cream. Like talking to John Dunlap from Superfly, he's looking at multiple different trucks that we can bring from your normal food truck to like dessert stuff. Um, yeah, they're gonna bring a heck of a show. From talking with them and building and planning forward, I'm pretty hyped on what they're gonna bring for not only our participants but their participants and people coming to check it out. I don't care which group, quote unquote, you're part of. It's gonna be a fun time. I'm looking forward to being able to check out the cars myself because I'm a car nerd. I can't help it. It's where I got my start. So I think that's where we all got our start. So
Yep.
I'm looking forward to seeing what rolls in and then taking a gander at it. The other thing that we had mentioned is we're also working on for the car show folks as well as some of the drivers. At the end of the day, is trying to do touring laps where we're doing rolling shots of the cars as part of this whole deal. So they're going to do like a
That's cool.
premium VIP entry for the car show group where along with the entry, you also get opportunity to get on track in a pace situation where we're doing rolling shots in the cars because we all know rolling shots of cars are not easy to get. You got to know somebody to get that done, get it done well. Well, we're going to provide that, and it's going to be obviously at the end of the day on a racetrack. So you got golden hour going on, you got a great backdrop. It's going to be legit. Like I said, there's so many things we can do with their inclusion. I'm so stoked on how next year's building up and how Time Trials Nationals is building up. So
That's a really cool feature, man. Again, the forethought that you guys are putting into this so that you can get those people out, have it be worth their time, energy, money. Because I know I've been friends with a lot of people who do a lot of car show stuff. For instance, I was actually chatting with someone just today in Willow Springs, obviously big sale, a lot of stuff. They're having this event apparently in September, November, I don't know, one of those months. So having this event at Willow Springs, which by the way, it took me over 10 minutes to figure out where the event actually was because I thought it might be at the Peterson Museum because it's in conjunction with them, blah, 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 blah. Couldn't even figure out where it was at, by the way. And then I was like, oh, cool. I'll go. I'll support the racetrack. I'll bring my car because it's a car show. But then come to find out it's not a car show. You can't bring your car and show it because it's only for cars that are part of the Peterson Museum or picked from that. Like they're special. Like I get it. I do get it. But I think they're missing the mark on understanding what matters. People want to show off their car, their personality, who they are. So I'm glad that you're understanding the car community in that full realm and understanding that those guys, like you said, to get rollers on track with a show car, with those type of things, right? That's going to be something that guys are going to line up in droves to get there, to get that done. And I think that's really cool to recognize those type of little idiosyncrasies within the event. I know, long drawn out thing to say. Cool that you're doing that, but
No, I
it's a
appreciate it.
stark comparison, right? Like it's just one of those things. I think people really need to understand those little things for our enthusiasts. Those are the things that matter. I mean, it goes back to our conversation about how SCCA talks to drivers, how they want them to interact, how they want that to be a part of their story, right? We've talked to very interesting people about how one person has affected their journey so much. Tony Zerko was a prime example of that, where it was like one guy changed his life in saying, "Hey, take that thing to the circuit with me," right? One guy can make such a change, and so by having that and getting your ability, I mean, some of the quite literally the best friends that I have currently, I've met at the track. And for me, again, going back to the funny part of it, it's guys that had the same chassis type as me. So it was, hey, I have this car, you have that car, let's talk about this. And this gets that conversation rolling from a much greater, exposition. So again, just stating the obvious, I think that's really cool that you guys promote that to such a degree, instead of it having to happen when like someone's AN line breaks and I have a full AN kit, and so it's like, hey, you're my next best friend, those type of things. So
That works well.
You gotta love that about the paddock. Like I know our groups like that. I'm sure Great Life and GTA is like that as well. Just like one person go down and it's like 5 teams jumping in on a car to get it up
Yeah,
and running for the next day. That's
for
that's
sure.
that's what it's all about, right?
Yeah,
It's the team, the community. It's growing all that.
yeah.
Um,
Also, man, I gotta reminisce us talking about where SCCA is going. It also makes me think about like, you know, I got started with time trials with SCCA. This is back like 2010. And this was back when it was run by regions. There was no national presence in terms of time trials. And that was something that like as a younger way back then, 15 years
young
ago,
buck.
right? Like, yeah, wishing that there was something bigger and better and that SCCA would like time attack is a thing. We want you to invest. Like, you know, we felt like it was just the redheaded stepchild. It was solo nationals and it was wheel to wheel, and that was really it. And everything was sort of left to the regions. And we were like, no, like we really think there's something here. And now to see that this is where you guys are at, like it's just so much. It's just so fun to reminisce, to see like I got started in a small region and now this has blown up to you guys are running multiple events across the countries, multiple championships, and putting on these huge weekends. Like I'm so happy that the SCCA took notice and has continued to invest year after year, and you guys are only making it bigger and better. So thank you for that. And from someone who started in a small, in a regional race, I think that's just super cool.
I appreciate it. I want to take a quick moment to make sure that we mention so people know that regional stuff still exists.
Yeah,
There are
absolutely.
regions that have time attack events that rival the national events when it comes to size and cars. Like Washington D.C. and Indy and Texas and there's so many groups out there that have regional events. So we're bringing events to the West Coast. And I'm working, trying to get a team up in the Pacific Northwest to get an SCCA, get time attack going within the region up here. I know Jager, I think you mentioned the Thunder Hill. There's the Reno region runs at Thunder Hill, runs a time attack. It's a smaller one. They're the Vegas group. They run a time attack. So there's regions out there, but that's kind of the hope is like we do the big national events, but then the regions can kind of grow because people kind of have cars more geared towards the rule set, and kind of build within the region and kind of adopt those tracks and you know make it a thing there as well, so you can continue to grow and bring younger people in, and then when the national event shows up, they're ready, that kind of thing. So,
Yeah, we got to get these
yeah,
younger people off these drag slicks and got to get them onto some good slicks.
they
Because,
can run
man,
drag splits as long as they're drag racing.
yeah,
Um,
I need them to start turning, man.
yeah,
I can't state it enough. That's the one depressing thing about social media, man. I'm like, get some turning involved in your lives, man. Let's turn a little bit as we go through this. So,
yeah. Don't bring R888s. But
yeah.
anyways,
Oh man.
Well,
uh,
John, I mean, it's always a pleasure having you on the show. I'm really, really excited that you were able to come to the show and really announce this Superfly news to us and get us some new West Coast time attack events coming in 2026, and just bigger, badder events than badder. I guess that's kind of a good word, badder,
yeah,
gooder
Bigger and
events.
better, yeah.
I'll go with gooder
good.
events. We're gonna have some freaking awesome events in 2026 with car show with guys that are able to, exemplify what we see and love in the car community, as well as just West Coast time attack events. Obviously, you guys still have all your East Coast events that you're going to be announcing at a later point in the year. So, East Coast guys, don't be afraid. They're not going anywhere. We're just trying to expand a little bit over here, trying to get time attack back rolling in the right direction on this side.
And there's like Kilgore's already sniffing around trying to find cars. Doesn't mean you can't find a car to come join. And I don't know about y'all, but I've got a nice sticker set of track maps that I have on a plexiglass, a wind block of my car, and on my computer. It's always nice to add a new track map
Oh
to
yeah.
your collection. So it's a great way to do it.
I mean, there's
Find a
also
good
the SDC guys. They also have cars for rent. I'm sure they'll probably be looking to attend. They're getting very much into time attack themselves. I expect the SDC guys to be coming on out to these events. Actually, I'm not going to say I expect. I am demanding that the SDC guys show up to these events. Great group of guys, all looking, and I think the SCCA rule book really kind of plays more into their strengths of their cars. So I think that's something that the SEC guys would be vastly excited to be partaking in. But again, big thanks, John. Really appreciate you coming on to the show. Any last follow-up questions there, Kilgore?
How can people get in touch with you or stay up to date with the happenings of SCCA as well as what's going to be coming out for next year?
Obviously, great source of information is the website, timetrials.scca.com. If you're an SCCA member, you're going to get a lot of stuff pushed out through Carry Speed that are going to keep you up to date. If you have questions specifically, you can hit us at, well, I could say my name, but let's do timetrials@scca.com. We'll get you answered there. If you have classing questions, the website got you. If you don't see your car class for either sport or tuner, we can do it there. Just so people know, I'm more than happy to answer emails to help people sort out classing, help find solutions to if there's an issue with their classing, that kind of thing. I love to see people come out and have a good time. I'm more than happy to answer questions and get you set up and ready to rock. So. And I
Excellent.
appreciate you guys having me on the show once again. Able to drop this bomb, probably a little bit ahead of our article actually going live, which I kind of dig. I can't tell you guys how stoked I am to be bringing something to the West Coast, to bring a full series. It's something I've been wanting for a while. So I'm really stoked on it. I hope people jump at the chance. I hope they join us. I hope these are big bad events, and that we all have just an amazing time. So very
That's
very
awesome.
much looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
Heck yeah, man. I
Well,
know
man,
I am too. Woo!
Yeah. If you are, as John asked earlier, if you guys are thinking about Time Trial Nationals, get signed up. Don't wait. A few spots are remaining, so be sure. And again, this is going to be obviously be the first year at Pit Race. So fresh trophies. You guys have been at Pit Race before, so there are records. But I have a feeling that there are going to be some records prime for the taking. So it's always, to me, there is something special about that first record, right?
Yep.
Obviously, records are meant to be broken, but that first record really kind of sets the tone. And so if you want to be one of the ones to set that first record, you guys got to get signed up. So be sure and do that. You guys can go to the SCCA website for that. You guys can follow us on Instagram. You can email us at maximumattack@perfectlappodcast.com. If you have any questions or if you want us to have other people on the show, if you need information from us or you want us to get you in touch with John or whoever, we are always more than happy to answer any questions for you guys. You can find our episodes on YouTube, Apple Podcast, and Spotify. John, as always, thanks for coming on. It's always a pleasure, and we look forward to seeing you out at a lot more events. And I got to come out there to the West Coast. I mean, I've got to do it, and this is only giving me more reason to come out there and do that. So I'm looking forward to it. This is going to be a lot of fun. As always,
I'm gonna leave one more nugget.
yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but just so you know, I mentioned Target a couple times. There might be a Target on the West Coast too.
Oh.
So I'm gonna drop that nugget too, and then we can go.
There's nothing like leaving on a cliffhanger. I like
There
it.
you go.
Yes, as always, for all you time attackers out there, keep pushing, go fast, take chances. We'll see you in the next one.